Hello and welcome to another episode of Arena FPS News, episode 21. Now, we could make a big deal of the fact there's been about a month between this one and the last one, but let's not dwell on the past or
Maybe
the
we should
misgivings.
dwell on past, man. Maybe we should tell everyone whose fault it is.
Well, it's not necessarily my fault. I mean, we put out some good content after that. It was a very good Doom Catchup video and an excellent podcast, which was well received. And I do remember that somebody at the last minute cancelled on that. So
maybe we should just get on with the news. I don't want to dwell on the past.
Ho, 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 ho. So, because Mr. Neeple here decided that we're going to eschew our normal running order, we're going to do tournaments first. So, Face It has recently done a Quake live tournament. And do you want to talk about this? Because I assume you were in the country to watch it.
Yeah, so all of this news is pretty much old as shit, but we're just going to recap so we're back on point for next episode.
Yeah.
So the Face It tournament happened. I assume everyone knows. Face It came back to Quake. That is already wonderful. And it was a $5,000 tournament. 2,500 goes to a team games tournament. 2,500 goes to a duel tournament. There was a pretty steady, like 3,000, 3,500 people watching it.
Which is pretty good. I mean, for Quake tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, and I assume it would have picked up some viewers from because obviously Face It's fairly big in the esports scene at the moment. So I'm sure some of the normal viewers, like Counter-Strike viewers, and
there was a lot of Counter-Strike viewers. It's safe to say that Quake players weren't necessarily inviting to the Counter-Strike players, and vice versa. There was a lot of "What the fuck is this game? Isn't this game dead?" Lots of comments like that. Well, but it was nice. It was nice to bond with them.
It's been a rivalry for like 15 years. So good to keep it alive and well.
But yeah, it was good. I won't say who won because that would piss me off if I hadn't seen it.
No. I don't know who would tell other people who had won tournaments.
Only the lowest of the low.
Can't be. I'm still salty about that. Anyway, there's been a Reflex patch, and this was also a while back, and it wasn't a large patch, but there was some balance tweaks and some interesting additions for mapping, which you mappers probably by now have already utilised and made maps with. But
yeah, so I don't understand the mapping side of things, but every time there's a mapping update, I'm assuming it gets us closer to CTF. Because they said they needed changes to the mapping engine and things like that before we can get CTF, like rotating the maps.
Yes.
And things like that. And so this update has support for moving, cloning, texturing, and rotating multiple brushes.
And I'd imagine all those things would be useful for CTF. So
yeah, so I hope it's closer.
We just need a flag.
Yeah.
That'll be, pretty good. If you guys get on that, if you could have a flag, please. That'd be nice.
They also teased a little image of all the upcoming new weapons. So if anyone doesn't know, Reflex is kind of going in a 180 on their sort of art style. So they're going away from the sci-fi and going towards a more how would you describe it? Like
Tesla punk, I think is a word.
Tesla punk, yeah.
Going around.
So lots of valves and electricity and shit like that.
Early industrial.
Yeah. So all that theme plus dildos apparently.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're being kept. I
hope they are.
At one point they were having like the axe weapon skins. It's like you could get editions for like early access players would get a special axe and etc. So I'm hoping that might be available at some point on release.
Yeah. So basically there was 3 images.
Yeah.
And one of the images showed a bunch of the weapon models from a bit of a distance, as well as a penis-shaped rocket.
Yeah.
And then the last image showed one of the robots standing there with a dildo-looking melee weapon.
Yes.
So I think it's safe to assume that's not a serious addition, but the weapons look quite nice. They're kind of color-coded towards what you'd expect them to do. Like the shotgun's orange. I think that's a plasma gun. The plasma gun looks blue and kind of the colors you'd expect. So
yeah, and it's good to kind of for visual clarity have very strong colors for each of the weapons. I like that.
Yeah, which they kind of didn't look like they were when we saw the concept art a while ago, but now they definitely do.
I do prefer them over the concept art. Not that I didn't like the concept art, but
Yeah.
I like the direction they're going. So there's been a Diabolical show again.
Yeah.
A while back, and do you want to talk about that as you kind of did the official write-up for
Yeah, I think this
various
was
websites?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
1st of July this was, or before that, because I take ages. So they added a simple HUD, which again is one of those changes that kind of makes the game look a lot more complete, less alpha.
Yeah.
Apparently the HUD will work using HTML and CSS, which is good because that's quite simple and easy for people to edit and make their own HUDs and things like that. So, similar to what Reflex is doing with LUA, and people made some insane Reflex HUDs.
Yeah, although the difference with LUA is it's a scripting language, so obviously you can script things, whereas HTML and CSS are not scripting languages, so you can't script things.
Yeah, but giving those tools to the community always means you're going to get, like, same with mapping tools, it means you're going to get some really good stuff.
Yeah, stuff that you wouldn't get just from the developers, which is...
Yeah. The energy bar is in on the HUD, and that functions now, so you can test out using the skills and stuff and see your energy bar go down, and you can tweak the balance of it, so you can like tweak how much. I'm pretty sure you can do this. I haven't actually done it myself, but I'm pretty sure you can start fiddling around with how much energy things will use and stuff to look at different options. Apparently dual mode is now working. The UI isn't there, so it's still a bit iffy, but I think the mode is sort of set up now, and I think the point of that was so James can test it out with Faz and Fox and stuff to kind of come up with a basic balance.
Yeah,
test out weapons and things like that.
Hopefully by the time the next, Diabolical update comes out, it might have kind of a bit more dual substance. So when it actually gets released, it's like a full dual mode.
That'd be nice. The LG and rocket launcher models have been updated a little bit with some sort of paint overs. I'm not sure if the actual models have, but the concept art for them has.
Yep.
And there's been more submitted Eggbot voice recordings from the voice actors I've been working with, which are all very different and equally interesting. But that's it since the 1st of July, so Lord knows when the next show is.
Yeah, the shows are getting a little bit more sparse in terms of the kind of, schedule. But hopefully that means like whenever we do see a new show that there'll be a lot of updates to glean information from.
And actually some recent news, which is the UT4.
Yes.
Latest podcast video thing they do.
So first off, they were looking at a pretty cool kind of demo tool. It was a little bit kind of light on the what you could do with it, but there's Reflex had something similar called Demoflex, which is really quite substantial, but this looks a little bit less. What's the word?
Elaborate.
But it looked very cool, and the fact you could upload demos straight to YouTube was a pretty powerful tool. And hopefully it's going to mean like more frag movies, and I think this is something that like all these new games really need to kind of focus on, is frag movies, and like that's a bit of a story time, very brief one. Like the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare really did very, very well off frag movies, and now people take the piss out of them, like the 360 MLG no scope stuff. But back in the day when YouTube was getting more popular, like these massive views on the frag movies really pushed the popularity of those games. So if we can see that again with like Reflex and Diabolical and with UT4, hopefully that will kind of attract attention.
Yeah, people making video content for any game is helpful. Like Zacubus is really helping out UT4.
Definitely.
PSGP really cool. Are really helping out Reflex. So, and this just makes it easy for people to come up with content and upload. Like if it's just everyone's games are recording, and it can, like, because Halo 3 had this as well. You could just jump back and look at old games, find a section of it, and watch that section. If people can just like upload some insane frags and get people watching them from all walks of gaming, then that's going to be great for UT.
Definitely. And the other thing they were highlighting was customization options for players, so kind of hats and more so, that they're adding into the game at the moment. So kind of really allowing players to customize characters, which again is something completely new to this genre of game, whereas before it's like you pick a player model like Tank Junior or Malcolm, and you play as that character, whereas allowing the players to have a bit more kind of customization, which is very in vogue at the moment for multiplayer games.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you asked Quake players, none of them would tell you they need it. And I agree, it's not a big deal for me either. But if you look at the games that are utilizing this in an insane way, like Counter-Strike and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they've got a whole community just based on selling and buying and trading and all that sort of stuff with just the items. It's insane.
Yeah, and TF2 as well. And I don't think it's necessarily having a bad thing, having players involved in the game which they're not necessarily very good at the game or like the game play as much, but they enjoy kind of the collectible side of things. Because the more people involved in the community, even if it's different aspects of the community, it's still a bigger overall community.
Yeah. And I think we can expect Reflex and Diabolical to do this as well. I think Diabolical's definitely said they will, and Reflex have talked in the past about cosmetics and stuff. Yep. So if it helps the game, I'm all for it. If it helps fund tournaments and things, then that's even better.
Exactly. So I think that pretty much wraps up everything. Like Neeple said, it's kind of a more of a wrap up of the major things we've missed. Obviously, there's been other news, but these are the major things we wanted to talk about, and then hopefully get back to a normal schedule next week.
So, did you take any secret holidays?
I said I was going on holiday.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh dear. Anyway, I hope you all are. I mean, I'm sure all of you have been sad that you've been without us for so long, but we're back, and we endeavour to kind of create more entertaining and informative content for you wonderful, wonderful people. I've been Glangur, and this has been Neeple. Thanks for watching, and we'll have more content for you actually soon.